Hello, this is Naushin Sharin reporting from Centrist Nation, and today I'm at the event of Meet the Press of BIGD Pulse survey about citizens' voice, expectations, and opinions. And here with me, I have Professor Dr. Mirza Hasan, Advisor Governance and Politics Cluster at BRAC Institute of Governance and Development, BIGD, BRAC University. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. I'm fine, thanks.
How much power do ordinary citizens really have to influence reform in Bangladesh?
Very little, unfortunately, very little. If you have seen, throughout the process of the last 1 year, citizens have made very little impact on the reform process. They haven't been invited in the reform discussion by the reform commissions. Well, the reform commission probably called people. But, in the consensus commission, they haven't been discussed. And in general, other than, shouting and yelling and also some kind of, mob-related, violence, citizens haven't done much. I mean, the influence, to answer your question succinctly, hasn't done much, no.
How do you think that citizen engagement can move beyond protest to influence policy development?
So for that, we need some structural reforms that citizens must be represented. You see, at this stage, the different citizen groups, the civil society, they as watchdog, they can only bark. They cannot bite because there are no legal provisions for that. Formally, citizen cannot do much other than giving some, inputs, but they must be through some kind of, structural reforms. They must be part of the system. They should not only work outside the system, they should also work inside the system. There should be some legal reforms surrounding that. So citizens can be legitimately part of the decision-making, part of the policy-making process inside the state too, which is not the case in Bangladesh. And no one is talking about it.
What do you think is the biggest barrier that's making citizens hold the leaders accountable in policymaking?
The biggest barrier, as I said, essentially is that citizens are outside the system. Citizens' engagement is very informal, it's sporadic, it's not routine, it's not on a systematic basis. And as I said earlier, there are no legal provision, there are no constitutional provision, there are no administrative system, structural institution or anything that citizens can formally engage with the states. That's the biggest barrier that the citizen has when it comes to policymaking. Other than shouting from outside, they can't do much.
Do you think that the mob influence that's still being ongoing, if we see in the previous history, the other political parties couldn't stop that, and in the upcoming election, the audience, the citizens still have the concern, whoever comes in power, they might not stop the mob influence. What do you have to say about it? Do you have any opinion on this?
Yeah, well, the previous regime, if you're talking about the Awamin League regime, they're suppressed, brutally suppressed, people's protest. And mob is a different issue now. Mob, I think, we had mob violences, mob movements in the past, but things have qualitatively changed after the insurrection. One reason could be, there is less repression, so people can organize in good or bad sense, but we cannot allow mob violence. We can allow regular, legitimate citizens' protests. That's not mob. Mob is a different thing. It's a very negative thing. But what we are witnessing now is a mob violence, and I think people are not very happy about it. One of the worrying, the concern that citizens express, especially in this particular survey, is that the mob violence has become most prominent, and people are worried about it. And people are also worried that in future government may not be able to control it either. So that's a serious concern.
Do you think that this concern can be taken care of by the upcoming political parties? People do hope about NCP or BNP. What do you have to say about that?
Time will tell, but after the election, with a political party in power, if they behave well, if they follow the rule of law, then I think the mob-based protest or mob violence will go down. So it depends on the behavior of the future government. If they continue to be repressive, I think people this time will go for mob type of decentralized violence. That might happen because people have seen now, after the insurrection, that sometimes mob pressure or mob violence actually work. So, there is an incentive for it now to continue this practice. So all will depends on, the behavior of the political party, the next future government.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. Thank you so much.